I was always conscious that what my job was for Manchester United, so I was prepared to risk. Winning a league didn't matter. It was the next year it mattered. Anyone can play a game of football. Anyone. But practice makes you a real footballer. Your life is devoted to being the best you can be. Failure is not a problem. How you deal with it is a problem. And if you don't deal with it, then you'll fail again. The thing about energy, and anyone listening to this, is really important. I think that the example I was setting that was important to them, say, well, if he can do it, I can do it. People don't respond to change well when they see someone, the manager is changing his mind every second day, or your attitude should be, I've got my chance, I'm in this world, I'm going to succeed. You say to yourself, well, could I be that like that? 27 years in prison, come out and have no bitterness at all.
He's a former Scottish football manager and player who managed Manchester United. He's regarded as one of the greatest football managers of all time. During his 26 years with Manchester United, he won 38 trophies. He's Sir Alex Ferguson, and here are his top 10 rules for success.
How would a chief executive manage risk?
For a football coach, I was always conscious that what my job was for Manchester United, so I was prepared to risk. Shove defenders up in the attacking positions, take the gamble, because if you lose 2-0, you're still lost anyway. I think there's a common sense attitude from good leaders that, is it worth the risk? But are we going to lose out of this? Well, I think that United were the best at, they were best at having the consistency. Winning a league didn't matter. It was the next year it mattered. And there's not many teams can continue with that. For instance, City won the league, lost it next year. Chelsea have had a spell, and now they're having a bad spell. It's very difficult to maintain a success, a continuous success for 5, 6, 7 years. Very, very difficult.
I mean, what was the thing that allowed you to do it where so many other people have had challenges doing that, whether they're running a company or running a football club?
Well, it's that complacency, to avoid complacency, that if we win the league, my first steps the next season was to remind them about many things, about expectation, about responsibility, that complacency is a disease, that all these things matter to me, because I was always fearful of dropping back off the scale. And fortunately, we had a reasonable consistency. But the most important thing about United for me was that every time we lost the league in the Premier Division, we won it the next year. So there was a response by the character of the team. That's what was really important. Developing character in the football team is just as important as developing the ability of the team. And the character in that football club was very, very strong. Very strong characters. And I think that is really important. The advice I give to any young kid is, anyone can play a game of football. Anyone. But practice makes you a real footballer. You see games on a Sunday, pub games, love a game of football. The real players have had a practice ethic about them. You take I remember being at lunch in Glasgow many, many years ago, and Gary Player was the guest, your golfer. And they asked him that question, why do you keep practicing from the bunker? Because he was famous for going to the bunker. He says, well, I know I'm going to be in the bunker one time in a game, maybe twice in a game, and I've got to put in a hole. That's why I practice and practice and practice. That's a great example of what you have to do to be a top player.
Are there sacrifices you have to make as a leader? I think I read in your book that you played football the day you got married. You missed the birth of one of your sons at least. Do you have to make these sacrifices to be a winning chief executive?
Absolutely. There's no other way. Yes, your life is devoted to being the best you can be, and also an example to everyone. So sacrifice is absolute. It's paramount. Absolute. For me, absolute paramount. They've got their achievements. They're out in that big world now. And failure is not a problem. How you deal with it is a problem. And if you don't deal with it, then you'll fail again. I always feel that adversity has always driven Manchester United on. We don't like losing. And therefore, The human beings we've got in there, that character we've got in the dressing room, has to come to the surface in moments where we've lost a game. The thing about energy, and anyone listening to this is really important. When you start, like I did at United, we say at 43, 44 years of age, they see the energy, the players see the energy, they see it bouncing out of you. But when you get to the 60s, they still expect to see it. Mm-hmm. So I had to look at myself in terms of energy, the hours I slept. Because when I was a young manager, 4 or 5 hours, no problem. When I got to my 60s, I needed 6 or 7 hours. So you go to bed earlier, you look at your diet better. Saturday nights were out after the game, went home. You know, I very, very seldom went out on a Saturday night. So that I had to examine myself about my energy, because people want to see the energy. A really important aspect of it.
If you were running a business and it was a business-winning team, what characteristics would you have to see?
My staff, and would see them come in early in the morning. I thought it was good, ready, fresh, had the same purpose as me. Hard-working, energetic, good personalities, and we built a bigger staff in terms of the physiotherapists and sports science and things like that. They started coming at the same time as me. So I think that the example I was setting that was important to them, say, well, if he can do it, I can do it. But I think the important thing is what I think is really important to be consistent, be who you are, don't change. I think people don't respond to change well when they see someone, the manager is changing his mind every second day or whatever. I think consistency is really important. I don't think they should worry about the number of people who qualify at the same time as them. That's only negative. You know, that thing you say, oh, should I apply? There'll be hundreds apply, I'll never get it. You know, I don't think that's a positive attitude. Your attitude should be, I've got my chance, I'm in this world, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to apply for every job. You know, something which is really important for a young person? Get as many interviews as you can. Do you know that? The technique of going for an interview, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, even get 100 interviews and you fail 99 times. You'll improve through interviewing. And at some point in your life, you might be interviewing someone else.
You're a great student of leaders, historical, political. Who are some of the leaders you admire, and for what qualities?
Nelson Mandela. The great thing about him was there was absolutely no bitterness in his attached to his life. And you say to yourself, well, could I be that like that? You know, 27 years in prison, come out and have no bitterness at all. All he was interested in was making South Africa a country to be recognised and put on a moral path.
Thank you so much for watching. I made this video because Hilo asked me to. So if there's a famous entrepreneur that you want me to profile next, leave it in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. I'd also love to know which of Sir Alex Ferguson's top 10 rules had the biggest impact on you. Leave it in the comments and I'll join the discussion. Thank you so much for watching. Continue to believe, and I'll see you soon.
One over the bar in the second, possibly feeling that he's had a couple of very good chances, hasn't taken either. Anxious to atone, I've no doubt. Motherwell defending bravely, still nothing each. As the corner floats in, Fleming going up. Muir's there for Motherwell, as he's been so often in this game. The Motherwell defence positively racing out now. Over comes across, Ferguson's there, it's a goal! Ferguson has scored for Ayr United, or has he? The referee going over to look at the linesman. Let's have a picture of the linesman to our right. Now this conversation should certainly be interesting. The referee coming over to the linesman talking to the ref. And this is a crucial moment in this match. It's a goal. So Alex Ferguson's goal is good. The ball came across. Ferguson at last eluded the defence. There he is, right in the middle of your picture. And with 5 minutes to play, a controversial goal, but one that counts. And Ayr United lead by 1-0. And Alex Ferguson scores his 6th goal of the season.